Hey everybody, it's your girl Delilah Fitness. So today is the day that we're getting close to the holidays. So a lot of you guys at this particular point in time are getting ready for the holidays. You're making your favorite meals. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about weight gain during the holidays. Now, we know through previous studies have shown that people put on at least a minimum of 10 pounds during the holiday. Yes, at least 10 pounds during the holiday. So I wanted to share my expertise in the field that I love, which is helping you make better choices during this amazing holiday. Now, first and foremost, I would like to say happy holidays to each and every one of you. Please maintain some type of safety. This is a public service announcement. Please be very kind to other people and yourself while drinking and driving. Make sure that you have a designated driver towards the holidays. We know that there's Christmas parties, jobs have Christmas parties. People get together and they celebrate. Sometimes celebrate leads to alcohol consumption. I personally have been clean of alcohol for over 17 years, so I cleaned up. I do not drink alcohol. So for those of you who still indulge in the activity of alcohol consumption, maintain some type of integrity while you're doing the Christmas job. A lot of you guys, it's funny, I remember when I was working for corporate America, and we would have these Christmas parties, and people would, at the job, people would start drinking the alcohol at the job, and I gotta say, I knew I was still at work, and a lot of people, overindulge. Make sure you acknowledge that this is your job, and be very mindful with your drinking consumption, because it could affect you on Monday morning at the job. So that's what I want to say. And also, if you are drinking towards in the holidays, especially New Year's Eve, make sure you have a designated driver. All right, so let's get into it. So we know that this is the year, this is the time, 'tis the season to be jolly. Now, what does that mean, jolly? Jolly means happiness. Happiness, for some of us, means food. Food, our grandmother is coming over. She's making our favorite pumpkin pie. The aunt is coming over. She's making your favorite macaroni and cheese. For those of you who from the South, I have a southern part of me, is making chitlins, soul food. We got mac and cheese. We got the ham. We got the turkey. We got the meatloaf. We got the rice and peas. We got the corned beef hash. What we got? Well, what don't we have? We have the corn, what is it? The cranberry sauce out of the can. We got the overcooked collard greens with ham hock in it, or now turkey. We got a lot. If you are someone like me, I grew up in a big, huge meat eater family. Must have had like 5 or 6 different types of meat. Chicken, ham, roast beef. So I grew up in a huge. If we didn't have meat, then everybody was starving to death. Everybody was not full. So people had to have meat. Meat was part of it. Now that I've transformed and I've changed my life, thanks to knowledge and also past health histories, I no longer indulge. Let me make this distinctly clear. Nor do I judge people who eat meat. If you eat meat, I love my mom. It doesn't take away from my love for her. I'm just consciously aware of her health, because my mother suffers from diabetes and is based on her consumption. But it doesn't take away my love for my mother, nor do I judge her. I do not judge her. I use my judgment because, she collapsed on the street 2 years ago of her blood sugar being at 600. So I understand change is difficult. I have compassion, and compassion is something that I have for humanity. And what I wanted to do was to come on and share with you in the words of compassion, my love for each and every one of you, hoping that in the year 2023 it will bring us closer and stronger, and that we will rise up and of consciousness and eat more consciously, being very mindful about what we put into our minds as far as conversations and what we put into our bodies as far as consumption of nutrients. So with that being said, I wanted to share with you guys 3 things that you can do to really be very mindful of calorie consumption. So one of the things that I share with loved ones that are going through this holiday is how to revamp your menu. You could take it and say, well, hey, I like sweet potato pie, but you can make a raw vegan sweet potato pie. There are recipes out there where you don't have to have the crust. You could use a certain crust, because the raw vegan lifestyle is extremely exciting. I can't tell you, I've been in the raw vegan lifestyle. The food is delicious, it's nutritionally dense, and it's low calories. So you can make a raw vegan sweet potato. You could actually, I grew up in a Caribbean setting. Curry is very important. Curry. We eat a lot of curry, like curry goat. Instead of eating the curry goat, you could have curry and just use it with your broccoli and massage the curry and the broccoli or cauliflower, getting like cruciferous vegetables. You're getting a lot of nutrients. You're still getting the curry, because with my family, we love curry. Curry is like in India, we love curry. So we could revamp, and I do have a recipe book for those people who are looking for recipes and want to make wiser and healthier choices. Like I said, one of the things that you can do is put more healthy ingredients, or make a healthy, make a healthy copy of what you're going to eat with the meat instead of the meat. Do it in a healthy way, more seasoned, more spices, and it's more nutritionally dense with fiber, phytonutrients, and the water that the body needs. So that's one way. The second way is portion control. Now, if you are going to have the mac and cheese, the pork chops, the ham hocks, the chitlins, the turkey, the ham, roast beef, mac and cheese, you're going to have the rice and peas. Now, this is Caribbean. My family's Caribbean. The sauce, and the chitlins. If you're going to have the chitlins, a lot of you guys in the South, you know what chitlins are. Have it in a smaller plate. Don't get the big plate. Also, have the small plate and eat one portion, eat one plate, and walk away from the table. Walk away from the table. Walk away, because a lot of times you're not hungry, you're thirsty. A lot of you guys are dehydrated. If you add more, drink some water, coconut water, but one plate. Don't sit at the table and have another plate. Go walk away, eat one portion, go walk around the block. Because the third thing I was going to say is change a little bit of family rituals. Go walk around the block. Just after you eat, instead of sitting watching TV after 3 or 4 plates, go take a walk around the block, or do something fun with the family. Go. I actually say walk around the block. Go walk around the block. So walking around the block. So after you have your portion control little plate, not a big plate, change the size of the plate, because that's a mindset. Because if the little plate is full, you're going to be like, okay, the plate is full, because you're going to start to think, well, I'm getting a full plate. But to change the size of the plate, it'll help. It'll help out. And after you have the one plate, go for a walk. Take a walk around the block. Go around the block 2 or 3 times. Get some of that good old H2O, some of that good sunlight. Enjoy this, with the family. Create new rituals. Go walk around. Go have fun. Go laugh. Go play basketball in the park. Take the kids out. When I was growing up in the 70s, we used to go out when it was snowing and go play in the snow. So we would, eat a meal. Then our mom would say, hey, kids, go out and play. So we would go out and play, and we would just go outside and run around. We had our play clothes on, and that's how we did it. So play dates, as the adults, you don't have to sit around and watch TV all day. Just go walk around the park, go enjoy nature, go have a discussion, talk, walk together, start incorporating certain behavior patterns or new patterns into your life. So those are the 3 things that I wanted to share as far as really being very mindful of what you put in your mouth, also what you put in your brain. We also know that the brain, the neurotransmitters in the brain, also what you eat, as far as, refined food. Be very mindful of the conversations towards the holidays, because a lot of people are sensitive. We are dealing with a lot of depression. If you know that somebody is suffering from something, please be very mindful of your conversation around family member. You don't want to trigger anybody. You don't know what people are going through towards the holiday. So curve your conversation. Be very mindful of other people's feelings in the room. And also, this is a time where people are unlifing themselves. It's high right now. Depression is on the rise. Also, with that being said, inflammation increases depression. So if you're eating a lot of food that increases inflammation, I highly recommend that you really do your research on any type of foods that is not beneficial to your health. Inflammation, depression, and stress is real. This is the time when people are trying to live up to certain standards and buy holiday gifts that they really cannot afford. If you know that this is you, take some time out and do an arts and craft class. Like, take the kids, buy some material from the art store and make gifts. When I was younger and we were on welfare, we couldn't afford gifts. So what we did is that we made gifts out of art supplies. For a lot of you guys that don't know, I'm an artist. I also make quilts. I'm a quilt maker, and I make jewelry. I set diamonds. So a lot of the times, thanks to my upbringing, being somebody who used to make arts and craft with my mom, and I used to make crochet. I crochet. So what you can do is to do a little with the family. Do a little crochet circle. Go get some crochet equipment and teach the kids how to do crochet instead of watching TV. Make it fun. So you just never know. You may have somebody that take that crochet class or crochet towards the holiday and start making blankets. That's what I did when I was a kid. We couldn't afford gifts, and that's the real deal. We were on welfare. I could not afford to buy gifts. And a lot of my stuff, growing up poor with 6 children and being my mom a single parent, we couldn't even afford food. We had to go to friends' house, and thank God for people who opened up their doors for my mom and her 6 kids. So this is a very, very sensitive time, especially for me or people who grew up in poverty, in a poverty situation. Food, you can actually, if you know somebody's homeless, when I was in the States, I used to do soup kitchens, because it wasn't really about me. It was about me paying it forward to other people, because I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to go to bed with no food. I know what it's like. I'm one of those kids that you guys pass by and with the mother with 6 kids and think that, she's lazy, that she's on welfare. That's not true. My mother was suffering from mental situations. It's not that she was lazy. So I highly recommend that we start to be more of a global village. If you know somebody who's challenged financially, bring them a plate of food. If you know somebody who in the neighborhood has children and a single parent, invite them over to the house and share the food. This is the time for us to be a global village. There's homeless shelters, right? Go work in a soup kitchen. I've worked in soup kitchens for years towards the holidays. One of the biggest things about the holidays was paying it forward and helping people. It wasn't about me. And growing up financially challenged, I know what it's like when I see kids that are not going to have a meal for Christmas, that's not going to get any gifts. They don't have a tree. A lot of times with me, my mom being a single parent with 6 kids, we didn't have the luxury of having Christmas gifts. We had to go to the Salvation Army and get what we can get. So this is a time, and a very sensitive time for me, that we pay it forward, that we look to other people and we give. And a lot of times you don't even have to give money. You can give your time. Right now, people are unlifing themselves. You just don't know. If you could just give an ear, if you could just give your time. People right now are suffering. And if you are that lucky person where you have extra resources, please give. You don't have to buy a Gucci bag. You know, your wife got enough Gucci bags. You don't have to buy another pair of jeans. In fact, you got clothes in the closet that you could give to the Salvation Army that could actually make somebody's day right now that don't have clothes, that don't have anything. You know what I mean? So we have to be very mindful of how we go into 2023, because what happens with people, and I'm going to tell you from my experience why we got a lot of people locked up in jail, is because they didn't feel included in society. And what happens with a child or anybody that don't feel included in the village, they will burn it down. So we want to make sure that everybody feels a part of this global village. To each and every one of us, it takes a village to raise a child, and we need each other more than ever before. So I want to take this time out to say I love you. Yes, I do. I do. Also to give. You don't need another pair of shoes. You don't need that Prada bag. You don't need to get your nails and hair done. You can do that yourself. Take that money and give it to somebody who's homeless. Somebody, if we go to LA, on the streets of LA, we got veterans that fought for this country that are junkies. Some of them are strung out. You know, we don't know what they saw during during the war. We don't know what veterans go through, but we give them only one day. We only give them one day. We say Veterans Day, but meanwhile, these people are homeless. You've been to LA? Take a plate of food and go give it to the homeless. Go to the place, if you know, where, especially if you're in LA, there's many homeless people that's living in tents. Even in Hawaii, we got homeless people in Hawaii. The indigenous people are being priced out. So a lot of them are homeless, living in tents. You know in your community there are people who are living in tents that are less fortunate financially than you right now. It is our civic duty to pay it forward. If you have and you've been blessed, pass that blessing on to somebody else. Don't hoard it. Don't throw the food in the garbage, because a lot of you guys are going to have extra food. Don't throw that food in the garbage. Go give it to the homeless or to a shelter. This is not the time to be throwing food in the garbage. Food is expensive. Gas is expensive. Prices are high. So right now you could just make somebody's day and your day by giving, because when you give, you're really giving back to yourself. So for a lot of you guys that are sitting around and have the luxury of having a flat screen TV, eating 3 meals a day and talking a lot of stuff at the table that doesn't make any sense, why don't we try helping out humanity for a change? Why don't we stop thinking about ourselves, and why don't we go and give? You'll feel so much better. And what a wonderful way to bring in 2023, by giving back, by giving, instead of always taking and thinking about ourselves. So public service announcement, X-Nay on the drinking and driving. Change your recipes, incorporate more fruits and vegetables, change add more nutritionally dense food. Walk around the block. Go walk around, and smaller portions. But also, let's give the most important gift in this holidays. Give the gift of love. Give your heart. Give your heart. And that's what I'm going to do. I live in Central America. We have many children that don't have shoes here. I'm going to help those who do not have. And I'm going to be in a soup kitchen, and I'm going to buy 5 children's shoes. I'm going to take out of my pocket, and I'm going to support the children's shoes. You know, where I live, people have outhouses. There's no bathroom indoors. So I'm going to bless 5 people with shoes out of my pocket, not asking for anything. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. So this year, let's do something different. Instead of buying gifts for ourselves, let's give the money that you was going to buy the gift for somebody who has enough, a closet full of clothes and shoes that they haven't even worn before. People have clothes in their closet that they still have the price tag on it. Let's take that money that we was going to buy somebody a Gucci bag, or buy somebody a pair of $500 jeans, or Air Jordans, or whatever those sneakers is that you guys, tennis shoes that you spend money. Let's take that money and let's give it to a child who's less fortunate. Let's give it away. Give it to somebody. So that's what I wanted to say. I'm about to go into my breaking my fast, my breakfast. I am going to have for breakfast watermelon. Just got up, had a nice sleep. I slept for 10 hours. So I'm feeling charged up. I'm feeling like $1,000,000. But I stand true to what I said. Be very mindful of the next generation. The children need us, and they need us now more than ever before. It will be a blessing, and you don't even know how special you are. A lot of you guys are in a powerful position to pay it forward. Each and every one of us have a powerful position to give back to those who are less fortunate, who don't have a home. So let's be kind to one another. Let's speak kind words. Let's be kind. Say good morning. You know, I lived in the States, and I located to Central America, and I got to tell you, I lived in a beautiful home in Brooklyn, had a co-op, parquet floors, cedar wood closet, 1,000 square feet, had 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, gorgeous in the States. I've traded it off for Central America. And I can't tell you, I lived in a building, and I can't tell you how many times I knew my neighbors. We would get on an elevator, wouldn't even say good morning to each other. It's interesting, but where I am now, I experience more love than I've ever experienced from people who are so-called less fortunate. I lived in the States, and I can tell you, and going on the trains, and people are pushing and shoving and pushing each other, going nowhere, but just so rude. So rude. Just pushing people out of the way, getting on a train, pushing people, you know, the rat race. And I got to tell you, in America, you guys have everything. You have everything. It's beautiful. You have everything. But here, in a so-called third world situation, I get more love. And I get more acknowledgement, human connection from people we would call in the States poor. And I got to say, in the States, anybody that's on welfare, you're not poor. We have people in the States that are on welfare that are obese. There's people, and that's an oxymoron. I find that quite interesting that we have people, and I've watched it myself, people in the States that are on welfare, and they're overweight. And they could afford Uber Deliver, and they could afford to do all of this, and they're on welfare, and they're living where I am would be considered rich. So when people are poor where I am, they're poor. They have no shoes. They have no bathroom. They have an outhouse, a tent. But you can be poor in the States and get an education. You got clothes, you got food, you got a car. You guys got until you get out of the States and you see what poor is, you're not poor. You have more than most. And you get education. Here you got to pay for education. There's not too many people that's going to make it to school. So I help out with scholarships with that too, coming out of my pocket. So it pays to pay it forward because these children need us. So let's get out of our heads and get out that we need a new pair of shoes and I need a new iPhone. There's nothing wrong with your iPhone. There's nothing wrong with your iPhone that you can't, but you want a new one because you addicted to toys, to things, material things, that shiny coin. Let's learn to love each other more. Let's learn to give back. Giving is definitely a spiritual journey. For those of you who say, I want to change 2023, start loving more. Start giving more. Your whole world and perspective on life will change. All of the depression, because you're thinking about yourself, me. Get out of yourself and go and give to somebody less fortunate, somebody homeless. You'll see your perspective on reality will change when you come to a third world country and you see people don't have it. You'll start to get out of your head when you have to see people are less fortunate than yourself and that how blessed you are in the States to have such free education. I know it's not free. You work your tax dollars and everything. I get it. I'm from the States, so I get it. But I got to say, I had to leave the States to see how blessed I was in the States, how lucky I was that I went to school, that I have an education. I was so blessed. And when I walk around here, I went to college. I have a BFA. When you go to other countries, I had shoes. Even though we was on welfare, I had shoes on my feet. I had a meal. I had a roof over my head. We got Section 8. Here, when you're poor, the government doesn't have, the government doesn't have things, doesn't have programs for you you have to go on your own bootstrap. And this is where family comes into play, because in this country, family supports each other. They have the grandmother in the house. They don't put the family in a nursing home. So the grandmother is the one that picks up the kids from school while the parents are working. See, there's a different order here as far as in the States. We take our elderly and we put them in a home. There is no homes here. There's no homes. There's no place to put your elderly. They stay in a house, and basically what they do is that they take care of the children. They have enough mindset. But in the States, we have a sense of entitlement. No disrespect intended. I'm speaking from my experience as somebody looking back in hindsight and not appreciating what I had when I had it. You never miss the well until the water runs dry. You never miss what you had until it's gone. And so a lot of you guys, you're not poor. It's a perspective. It depends, because if you leave the States, you will realize how advanced you are. You're not poor. You're not poor. Nobody in the States is starving to death, and nobody in the States is poor. Nobody's poor. So we have to really show gratitude and acknowledge that we in the States are amazingly blessed. And if you choose to use the education, you can, or not in the States, but you have the power of choice, where you could not go to school or you could go to school. But I highly recommend people would do anything to get an education here. People would do anything to go to school. So you have access to education. And what I'm saying is use it, use it, use it, use it. If it wasn't for education, I would not be the woman that I am. I grew up in a family of poverty consciousness as well, because poverty is a mindset. And it's not until I started to breaking out of that mindset and traveling more and seeing the world and seeing how lucky I had it that I started to change my perspective on reality. And once I changed my mindset and my perspective on reality, I was able to stand in my truth. And that's why I'm able to have this conversation with you, because I've lived it. I've lived it. So this is the time to pay it forward. This is the season to be jolly. So if you're making a lot of food, and I'm talking to my people in LA, share it with the veterans, the homeless, the veterans. And make sure you share it with somebody. Knock on the door, and say, we know that there's a senior person, an older person that's living in a house, living in a building that family members are not coming to see. Bring up, like what we used to do, bring a plate of food over. Say, hey, Miss Johnson, I don't know if you had a dinner or meal, but here's a plate of food. Do you want something to drink with that? See how kindness comes. And then when she's eating the food, you gave her a plate of food. To check on the seniors in the house, in the community. We have, and I know you guys have seniors in your community that are sitting at home. Some of them family don't even come and see them. You have an opportunity to pay it forward, because one of these days we're all going to get old. Every one of us is going to get old. No matter what race you are, how much money you got, we're all going to get old. And what you put out in the world is what you get back. So if you don't give, you will not get. So that old person is me. That old person is you. It's paying it forward. So one day when you get old and you're sitting at home, somebody will knock on the door, and you want that for yourself. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Don't be nasty. It doesn't pay to be nasty. It doesn't. It doesn't pay. It doesn't. It sets in more depression by being nasty. It costs you nothing to say good morning to your neighbor. It costs you nothing to check up on your neighbor to see if the neighbor's okay. This is the holiday to get out of yourself and to give back to other people. And now, it doesn't cost you any money, because you was making dinner anyway. So you have an extra plate to give to somebody. So giving is the key. For 2023, it's all about giving. It's all about collaborating. If you're an entrepreneur, I've been collaborating with other people. It's all about collaborating, and it's all about giving back. It's all about community in 2023. You can't do this on your own. And I just want to say, for those people who sit here tight face, selfish. It doesn't serve you to be selfish because you'll end up by yourself. And that's what's going to happen, because if you don't give, people will not invest in you. So all this time you was being nasty, and you was throwing down your weight. And this is for people who own businesses too. If it wasn't, and I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going to say it. If it wasn't for my employees, I wouldn't be the woman that I am. If it wasn't for people that work for me to help me, I couldn't do the business by myself. I wouldn't be here able to have this live, because there's somebody in the back checking the emails and doing all the extra stuff that I cannot do because I'm busy right now. So I give thanks to all the people, employees, people who really give 110%, that show up for work, that really help me, so I can help you. So for all my entrepreneurs, if you have employees, give them a bonus this year. Give them a bonus. I know. Listen. I know a lot of you, is going to say, I don't have it. It's not in my account right now. I can't give bonuses. You could give bonuses. You could give a little something. Even if it's a little something, give. Even if it's $100 per employee. That $100, it's about the token of appreciation. That can go far with somebody right now. So I know, because I do that with my employees. Give. It'll come back to you. And I'm just saying that. So I just want to say this in love. I hope you guys received it, from one entrepreneur to the next. Also, as a person who is conscious, somebody who loves humanity, give back. All right, guys, I got to go. I have a client. But please remember to be nice to people. We need each other. We are one global village, and we love each other. Love is a verb. Give, 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 and feed the homeless. All right, guys, peace. I got to go.